There was no need to wait for an answer. My dad replied almost instantly, even though it likely caught him at the most inconvenient moment again. Maybe this time he had been on his way to visit someone and struggled to push up his bike a steep hill. Who knows, there was a good chance he was thankful for my SMS because it gave him an excuse to catch his breath for a second. I read the messages played on a small screen. Sunday is very inconvenient. I've got a meeting at 4 p.m. with a few people from outside the parish, and I can't postpone the meeting because I have no way of directly contacting them. The earliest I could leave Michel would be around 5 p.m., and the earliest I could pick you up would be 9 p.m. Does that work for you? I didn't even bother asking Mom and simply sent back an okay. Then I went back into the living room and updated her on the new arrangements. She could only shake her head and immediately started complaining. That's just typical your father to come up with such idiotic plans. He knows exactly that Benjamin, Bubblegum's legal name. I think I might have mentioned it in passing before. Our mom never called my little brother Bubblegum, even though she'd stop reprimanding me whenever I did. Needs a regular sleep schedule. Jesus Christ, 9 p.m. Her expression had turned increasingly sour. But no, we simply have to work around whatever harebrained idea that fine mister comes up with. I had a vague feeling that she wasn't entirely fair in judging my dad, here and really most of the time, but I had long since given up on trying to correct or dare argue with her accusations. My dad was in her bad books for life, and I doubted that it would ever change. You can already start picking out what you want to take along this time. I'll take care of packing clothes and toiletries into your closet rack, and make sure you have it ready by Sunday. She turned around and seemed to want to leave the room, and I already wanted to sigh in relief over having weathered this conversation, when suddenly she halted and spoke again. Are your friends, Kai and Louisa, coming along with you again? I couldn't stop myself from nodding automatically. In that case, she admonished, and more seriously than strictly necessary, pointed the finger right in my face. Refrain from trying to catch any further criminals, otherwise I have to ban you from listening to your famous 5 discs ever again. All they're good for is putting stupid ideas into your head. I was genuinely baffled, because I'd never even mentioned the burglar at the parsonage, much less the fact that we'd try to catch him. Unfortunately, it confirmed my ever-present worry that no matter what I did, my mom would find out sooner or later. The most powerful countries in the world had secret services that used incredible amounts of technology to uncover the world's secrets, and well, daughters had their mothers. I spent Friday and Saturday lazing around and found that the Solomon guy seemed to have at least some kind of a point, when he said that idleness made sleepy. I slept more than a South American sloth. I didn't even think of notifying Kai and Louisa of the new pickup date. The first thing I did on Saturday morning was have a large breakfast. I spent the rest of the day surfing the internet and forgot both lunch and dinner over what I found. Because I discovered a site where I could rewatch episodes of an educational show for children that I had only seen on TV before. This discovery was a game changer for multiple reasons. I could rewatch particularly funny moments for a second time, or parts that I hadn't quite understood the first time around. I just was the second or third episode, though it could have been just as well the 20th or 30th one. I hadn't exactly kept track. Each episode had been just as interesting as the last one, and time had flown by when I realized that I hadn't asked neither Kai or Louise whether they had gotten permission from their parents to come along, nor informed them of the fact that my dad wouldn't pick us up on Monday 4 p.m., but Sunday 9 p.m. I glanced at the clock and realized in horror that it was shortly before 9. Oh God, it was much too late that I had overslept without actually sleeping a single second. I suddenly felt incredibly tired, even though my dad was set to arrive any second now, and my 2 friends didn't even know. Why hadn't my mom called me for lunch or dinner? My first unpleasant hunch that I hadn't watched 2 or 3, but in fact 20 or 30 episodes of my show confirmed itself. It felt uncanny just how quickly time passed on the internet. I decided that I would have to limit my computer time to 10, at most 12 hours a day. Half a day, I could remember that all right. Mom? I called into the open plan living room. Why didn't you call me for dinner? I suddenly felt terribly hungry. Yes, what's up? She said, jumping up from the couch that she and Bubblegum had fallen asleep on watching TV. She had completely forgotten about my dad, just like me. At least the trolley already stood next to the apartment front door. I'm hungry, I said. And Bubblegum hasn't had anything other than his milk bottle either. My mom put a sleeping Bubblegum back onto the couch, but then stopped herself to safely wrap him into a blanket, laying him onto the floor. My little brother had the annoying habit of thrashing and turning in his sleep, and she wanted to prevent him from very painfully falling off the couch. I'll cook you a little something, she decided. Usually I wouldn't have minded a single bit, especially considering the extremely dire situation in my stomach region, but right now there was simply no time. Mom, you can. Dad's gonna be here any second. You say this as if your father ever had a habit of being punctual, she dismissed all her complaints. Chapter 4, in which we attempt to set off, emphasis on attempt. We glanced up at a large clock above the living room door and watched a second-hand count of the 3 remaining seconds until 9 p.m. The moment it hit 12, the doorbell rang. I haven't even told Kai and Louisa that he'd pick us up today. I wanted to, but I totally forgot, I lamented. And I haven't eaten anything since breakfast. That's just like your father. The second he arrived, everything descends into chaos. She grabbed the red carrier bag and started filling it with every bit of food she could find. Crisps, chocolate, biscuits, pieces of turkey, muffins, apples, carrots, bananas, 2 small boxes of orange juice, a large bottle of multivitamin juice, a piece of meat sausage, and 2 foil-wrapped leftover pancakes. It looked all very promising, and I couldn't wait to actually eat at least a fifth of it.